it, you brats!
Stop it, you brats!
These two raccoons have never heard of privacy, or just how to simply leave me alone, forever. Rebecca and Hallie were 7 and 5. I'm 10, so I'm the adult here, right? That morning, I was blissfully sunbathing near the pool when these two horrible girls drenched me with their stupid super soakers. I wish my parents would just put them up for adoption, or just forget them at school one day or something. The only good thing about living with them was that we didn't have to share a room. My parents were rich and we lived in a really nice house. We had our own rooms, and when I turned 10, I was finally allowed to lock my door. So for a few hours a day, I could cut them all out completely. Keep watching to see how my grandpa changed my life and how I got rid of these brats for a long time. So yes, my grandpa, my dad's dad. He owned one of the most popular vineyards and invested his money in other things too. I guess my dad sort of learned from him, and that's how he became rich. But my grandpa was richer. He lived in the biggest house I'd ever seen in my life. It was bigger than a mega mall, and definitely more luxurious. Not only was this house big, the surroundings were massive too. He even had a maze in his garden, and one time I almost got lost in there and I couldn't find my way out. I felt so proud to be his granddaughter, and I could brag to everyone that this was my grandpa's house. But one day, one very sad thing happened. My grandpa decided to go skydiving and, well, let's just say he never came back. My dad was called to the reading of his will, and when he came back home, he looked confused. He called us all to a family meeting.
Well, as you know, my dad had a huge fortune. All of us will inherit some of it, but it seems that Kimi was his favorite.
What do you mean, Dad?
Well, he left his house to you.
What do you mean?
Now you're the owner of his mansion.
What? The whole thing?
Yes, dear.
My mom and annoying sisters stared in disbelief. Wow, I was now the owner of a mansion. Well, Dad, I think it's about time I had more independence. When can I move in?
Young lady, you always make me laugh. You can move in when you're 18.
No, come on.
Well, maybe you should just let her do what she wants. Maybe she can try to live there for a week, and if she likes it, she can stay a little longer. Besides, there are over 30 members of staff working there. They can keep an eye on her.
Wow, Mom, you're so smart. Dad, did you hear that? So I can move out, right?
Fine, Kimi.
Can we come? Yeah, we're coming.
No. I went straight to my room, packed a bag of my favorite things, and asked my dad to drive me to my grandpa's house.
Already?
Yeah.
No, we'll leave tomorrow morning.
I nearly threw a tantrum, but I went back to my room and I locked the door. The next day, we arrived at my grandpa's, well, my mansion. The butler was already waiting for me at the door.
Good day, Miss Kimi. You have 45 different bedrooms to choose from. I'm sure you'll pick the perfect one.
Hello, Gregory. Well, I can just sleep in a different one each night until I make up my mind. Could you ask the cooks to make lots of pizza for lunch? Thanks. I waltzed up to the huge staircase and danced through the hallways, opening up every single room in the building. All the bedrooms were huge, but in addition to those, there was a games room, bowling room, a huge home theater, sauna, a gym, and a library. My dad stayed to talk to the staff for a while and then he left. They wondered why he was so comfortable leaving me alone, but he explained to them that I was different and that I had to have everything done my way. Yes! Liberation from my two stupid, horrible, annoying raccoon sisters. You know what sucked though? I still had to go to school. The next day, Gregory woke me up when it was time and then he brought me a wonderful breakfast in bed. After that, Lola, my new assistant, came to help me choose an outfit for school. Then the driver, Peter, drove me to school in one of my late grandpa's expensive cars. I don't know much about cars, but I do know that everything he drove cost a lot. On the way to school, I got a bright idea. Why don't I use my new fortune to my advantage? I can become the most popular girl at school if people knew this is my house. Hey Peter, can we stop at the printing shop real quick? I need to do something before school.
Sure, dear.
I printed 200 invitations to my housewarming pool party the next weekend, and when I got to school, I gave one to almost everyone I saw. I became an instant sensation, and with the help of my 30 employees, my party was a blast. I didn't even allow my family to come. I obviously couldn't have my little sisters ruining everything, if you know what I'm saying. For the next month or so, my social life at school improved a lot. Everyone wanted to hang out with me or come to my mansion to chill out. My parents would come to check on me every once in a while, but when they realized I was doing just fine on my own, they stopped behaving like helicopter parents. So that's it. All's well that ends well, and the story is over. Yay! No. Things just started to get weird in that house. And when I say weird, I mean really weird. I have a really good memory, and I always remember where I put stuff. But one day, my things just started go missing. For example, I'd put my backpack down on the table, turn my head, and when I turned back, it would be gone. This happened with so many things: my shoes, my computer, my tennis rackets. I started to think I was losing my mind, but that couldn't be it. Maybe someone was playing a trick on me. Then I started to hear noises in the night. Now, although I'm 10, I'm not a scaredy cat, okay? I never believed in ghosts or monsters or aliens or any of that stuff. But every night, I started waking up to a very startling noise. Once there was the sound of a wolf howling. Then another night, I heard a baby crying loudly. I looked everywhere for the baby, but it was nowhere to be found. Then one night, I heard some weird beeping noises. It was awful. I started to watch the staff suspiciously because I wondered if they were up to something. First, I followed Gregory around, but I made sure that he had no idea I was behind him. But he just continued his boring butler life and did nothing particularly interesting. So I changed my target. I decided to follow Lola. After she picked my outfit for school one day, I pretended to go to school, but I told the driver I was staying home, and I snuck back inside. First, Lola seemed to be quite ordinary. She watched TV for a while and then played a game on her phone. But then I saw her go into the kitchen when no one was looking. She opened the fridge and pulled out a huge container of something. She opened it, pushed her hand inside, and put something big and black in her mouth. I looked closer and then nearly fainted because I was so shocked. It was a bat! She ate it all up, closed the container, and put it back in the fridge. I watched her walk away, then went to the fridge to check for myself. I opened the fridge, then the container, and I saw a whole bunch of bats in there. Why were there bats in my fridge? Why was Lola eating them? This made absolutely no sense. Was I in a dream? Was I losing my mind? I ran around the house looking for Gregory to tell him what I saw, but when I finally found him, he was in the home theater sitting seriously looking at a purple screen. It was almost like he was in a trance. In fact, his eyes even turned green. You probably think I ran straight out of that house to stay with my parents, but I just went to my room and fell asleep. I was convinced that something was wrong with me, and there was no way I was going to go anywhere near my annoying little sisters. Anything was better than that. I thought that if I just had a nap, I'd wake up and everything would be normal again. Do you think it was? It wasn't. I woke up later and decided to go sit by the pool to clear my head a bit. But guess what? The pool wasn't there. How exactly does an entire pool disappear? I have no idea. I ran inside to scream to anyone who would listen. Gregory, where is the pool?
Pool? We never had a pool here.
Yes, we did. I invited all of my friends over here, remember? We had a pool party. How does a pool disappear?
Are you okay, Miss Kimmy?
Am I okay? You're all totally nuts here. I went back to my room and started crying. These people were crazy, and something was definitely wrong with this house. I knew I had to leave, and I had to leave quick. I was so consumed with my thoughts that I fell asleep until the next day. I knew it was the next day because the sun was shining directly onto my face. I looked out my window and gasped. The pool was back, like it had never left. Gregory? I screamed.
Yes, Miss Kimmy?
He said as he rushed to my door. You said that we never had a pool here.
I said what? Are you okay?
You're all crazy and you're playing games with my head.
No, we're not. I don't know what you're talking about. We've always had a pool.
And did you know that Lola eats bats? Do you catch them for her?
What are you talking about?
I want to go home right now.
But you are home.
To my parents' house.
Okay, fine. I'll get the driver to take you there right now.
He looked really confused and sort of like I'd hurt his feelings. Don't give me that look. You're all liars. As soon as I leave, you're all fired. Get out of my mansion and never come back. Peter took me home and my sisters had just left for school. My mom and dad were alone in the living room.
What are you doing here, Kimmy?
Something is wrong with that house. And something is wrong with everyone who works there. Well, maybe not Peter. I'm not sure. But everyone else has a problem. Lola eats bats. There are strange noises in the night. Things go missing. The pool disappeared. I don't want to go back there.
Wow, honey, are you okay? Have you been eating properly? Maybe this is what happens when you have pizza for lunch every day. You sorta begin to lose your mind.
I'm fine. Why don't you go and see for yourself? Go there right now and you'll realize I'm telling the truth.
Okay, maybe we will. We'll hire a sitter for you and your sisters, and we'll go investigate.
My dad said while winking. After my sisters got back from school and the sitter came over, my parents left in their car. The sitter made us some dinner, then I went straight to my old bedroom and locked the door because I wasn't about to socialize with Hallie and Rebecca. I played a few games on my laptop and spoke to a few of my friends online. At about midnight, my sitter knocked on my door.
Hey, when did your parents say they were coming back? It's already midnight and I can't stay here much longer.
Wow. They should have been back by now. Maybe something happened to them.
I tried calling them, but no one's picking up.
Oh no! Call the cops! Maybe something happened to them. The sitter thought I was exaggerating, but I felt like something was definitely wrong. I called them and gave them the address. The sitter drove me and my sisters to the mansion. When we got there, 2 cops were there, but I didn't see my parents' car anywhere.
No, officer. No one came here. I haven't seen a couple. I'm sorry.
He's right. You can check our security cameras. We've had no visitors.
The officers seemed to be convinced, but Gregory and Lola had an evil glare in their eyes. It has now been 3 whole months, and there have been no sign of my parents. Right now, my sisters and I live with our aunt in the country house. I still don't understand what happened to me in that house, or what could have possibly happened to my parents, but I wish that everything would go back to normal. Want a part 2? Then get this video to 30,000 likes.